Yo, what's up? Good morning, y'all. Appreciate y'all's patience. We had a few different technical difficulties, but we made a way. Trey made a way.
Yep.
Some cool stuff to talk about today. Of course, I know a lot of you that are on here. For those of you that are not a part of the Techpreneur community, particularly those of you that are probably streaming in from YouTube or from LinkedIn, and my bad, I hit go live on Instagram. Go live on Instagram as well. All right, cool. Yeah, so for those of y'all that are tuning in from YouTube, from LinkedIn, from Instagram, I know y'all are here because of the amazing mass hiring opportunity that is happening at Trey's company, where they are hiring for a little over or around about 2,700 or 2,700 job openings right now, paying up to $350,000 depending on the role. And then for more of the entry level, they have $60,000. So the pay range is between $60,000 to $350,000. Trey's going to talk about it. It's a whole bunch of different hiring opportunities. Of course, this will be treated like an internal job referral. So, of course, those of you that are not a part of the Techpreneur community, you all see Trey's name, and you can see the company that he works for just by the logo that's on his shirt. So, would highly recommend those of you to reach out to Trey if you have any questions, if you want to be seen as an internal referral. We're going to start the conversation off with Saturday morning tech news. So we're going to talk about tech news that's happened this week. After we cover the Saturday morning tech news, and good morning, y'all, for everybody's been saying good morning. My apologies, being rude and disrespectful to my manners. But for those of y'all that are not a part of the Techpreneur community, just a heads up, after we talk about Saturday morning tech news, we are going to go private with the community. And then we're going to, the community and I are going to talk to Trey more about the opportunity, answer questions. My encouragement to you all that are not a part of the community that reach out to Trey is to please make sure that you actually are coming not just ready to work, but that you are in some type of way, have some type of training, education, background. It doesn't have to be that you have years and years and years of experience, but that you are actually bringing some skill sets to the table. Of course, my recommendation is always some type of either boot camp or college or experience. One of those three, really, those are really the three things that you need. One of those three either way. And so the roles are various tech sales roles. So SDR roles, account executives, and various other type of tech sales roles, as well as sales engineering roles, as well as software engineering, and potentially other roles as well. Now, you all know, there's always a boot camp for everything. There's probably 20 boot camps for every type of thing that you might want to do in tech. Myself and Tech is New Black, we only refer a few different boot camps that we strongly recommend based on quality and based on how many people have landed jobs in tech that are out there. We can promote every single boot camp if we wanted to have an affiliate relationship with everybody, but we try to focus more on quality versus just promoting any and everyone. So for anyone that is interested in a discount link to any one of the boot camps, the tech sales boot camps, whether you're talking sales engineering or you're talking SDR, BDR, account executive, with the discount code or discount link that we have is literally only $449. Crazy cheap. And they're self-paced, so you can finish those boot camps in about a couple weeks, give or take, depending on like how much work you want to put in. So again, you want to make sure that you are not just a top candidate when it comes to applying, but because there's such a huge, massive hiring opportunity, it's very high probability that many of you would be able to land a role. Nevertheless, it's not just about landing the role, but it is about performing well in the role, because I care heavily about any of you that land a role at his company reflecting positively back on Trey. So that way in the future, when his company when his company is having other hiring opportunities, we want to make sure that when he refers his friends and family, that the company, that they listen to him when he's referring people. So that's why I care very strongly, and I'm very sensitive about encouraging massive people to go ahead and use someone like Trey as a referral, because I know how it can have positive effect or negative effect based on your knowledge, your skill set, your performance, your professionalism, your consistency, all of those different variables. That being said, the Techpreneur community, one of the things that we work on throughout the week is different assets that help people when it comes to basically all the cool stuff when it comes to like making sure you're skilled up and ready, aside from just what the boot camp gives you, but other stuff to make sure that you are more of a top tier candidate. So if you want to join the Techpreneur community, the link is in the description. If you're on YouTube and LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram tuning in, just comment the word tech community, and you'll receive the link in your bio for that. And so, yeah, super cool stuff. So all the links are in the description. If y'all want to do SDR, BDR, account executive, sales engineering, just comment whatever role you want to do. If you want to do software engineering, whatever role, if you're on Instagram, you'll receive a link. For the rest of y'all, just look at the description. All the info's in the description, basically. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So again, we're going to start off with Saturday morning tech news, and then we are going to shift private and just and talk to Trey further about the mass hiring opportunity to allow the Techpreneur community to ask him all the questions to make sure that they're good to go. We want the Techpreneur community to be top candidates when it comes to this opportunity. Super cool. So Trey, bro, appreciate you, man, for coming on. Appreciate you for thugging it out through the technical difficulties and you making a way and you like, all right, let's just pull my phone out and make it do what it do. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, it's an honor to be here with you, Cyrus.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Sir Dominique, it's not so you wouldn't comment tech community. That's for people that are on Instagram. So everybody on YouTube and LinkedIn, you don't have to comment a trigger word. Literally just look at the description of this conversation and you'll see all of the links for whatever you're interested in sitting right there. So, all right, look, man. So look, we got some cool stuff to talk about, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like the opportunity with your company is actually pretty huge. Like there have been a couple people that have tapped me about some mass hiring opportunities. Most of them have been more like at the most a few hundred, like, okay, the company's hiring for, 300, 500, which is still huge, and then the salary range would be somewhere on, like 70,000 to 120, 140,000. Bro, I think this actually might be the biggest mass hiring that honestly that I've seen, to be honest. Kay said the link isn't here. My apologies, Kay. If y'all don't see the link, I will add the link to YouTube later. Or you can just, I'll add it to YouTube. Add it to YouTube later. You said, can I put it in the chat? I can put it in the chat, but I don't know if it'll be clickable on YouTube. No. So let me clarify really quickly. Y'all do not have to join the Techpreneur community to apply to the role. You don't at all. I just encourage you before applying, reach out to Trey first, so that way he can see you, because we don't want people applying and then saying, yeah, I was, Trey referred me. Trey, and then the company, they asked Trey, hey, Trey, can you tell us about Karen? Tell us about Karen Taylor. And then he's like, I don't know no Karen Taylor. And then you look crazy. And now you look like a liar. Or, but also the other reason is so that way when you apply, you would have talked to Trey a little bit, maybe got a little bit more clarity about the role, maybe more clarity about qualifications, whatever. The information should be on the company site either way. But the goal is to make sure that when you are applying, that you actually got your P's and Q's down pat. So that way, for the interview process, but most importantly, if you land a role that you basically you're performing well. Because again, we don't want you to reflect poorly back on Trey and poorly back on your own community as well. Because this is an opportunity for Trey as well, where the more people he brings in at his company and that are performing well, it now opens up doors for him to where when he recommends other people, the company will jump and they'll say, oh yeah, if Trey recommended this person, we're gonna go ahead and believe him. But on the flip side, if y'all are getting in and are not on your ish, you're not on your game, then it reflects poorly on Trey. To where when in the future, if he has a family member or a friend, someone he wants to refer, the company will do the opposite and be like, yeah, I mean, Trey be referring people, but we had to let the last batch of people he referred go. So we're not really sure if we're going to take his word for it anymore. So again, I care, we got to care very much, not just looking at an opportunity for us, but making sure that we're not hurting someone else or screwing someone else over when it comes to that. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, so we're gonna jump into the Saturday morning tech news. Good stuff. All right, bro. So, man. So yeah, let's get into it, dude. Let's get into it.
All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Of course, the first one is gonna be about your boy Sam. That is not. Okay, cool. There we go. All right, boom. So let me shift this way. All right, cool. All right, so Sam Bankman-Fried sentenced to 25 years for FTX fraud. So Sam Bankman-Fried, the co-founder and CEO of FTX, has been sentenced. Let me know in the chat like how much all of you have been keeping up with the story of Sam Bankman-Fried, or if any of you don't even know who this is. I'm actually curious to see kind of like the percentage or the average of how many of you actually keep up with the story of Sam Bankman-Fried. Somebody said, they said, damn, they freed him. They fried him. Yo, wow. Yo, the internet is undefeated. That was funny. That was funny. FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried, or in this case, Fried, was sentenced to a total of 300 months or 25. Ooh, 300 months just sounds so much worse than 25 years. 300 months or 25 years in prison for 7 counts of conspiracy and fraud charges stemming from the collapse of the crypto exchange he started. The judge applied a 240-month sentence for 4 of the charges, plus a 60-month sentence for 2 others, and ordered that Bankman-Fried forfeit more than $11 billion, including property, as recommended by prosecutors. Man, Judge Lewis Kaplan's sentence was shorter than the 40 to 50 years requested by prosecutors, which he said was more than necessary, but longer than the 6.5 years Bankman-Fried's lawyers asked for, and far less than the maximum sentence of 110 years. Recapping the trial, he said that Bankman-Fried knew FTX was seriously exposed to risk, that the customer funds weren't his to use, and that he was well aware that what he was doing was wrong. Bankman-Fried justified his actions by betting on expected value, weighing the cost of getting caught against the cost of getting away with it. And that was the game, Kaplan said. Look, so we got to talk about it. First and foremost, would love to know from y'all. Somebody asks, is there audio? Yeah, we're on with audio. No, you don't, Corey Cometh. You can message Trey directly. You can message Trey directly. Nobody has to join the community to apply to the job. Yeah, you don't have to apply to the community to apply to the job. You can message Trey privately. Anyway, it's just we're going private when it comes to the community asking them more questions, because it's one of the perks, one of the benefits that we have within the community. Blah, blah. I'm not gonna jump into explaining it. Anyway, so bro, let's talk about it. First, I want to ask y'all in the comments while Trey and I are talking about this. What is y'all's y'all's thoughts on this? How much have y'all been keeping up with the Sam Bankman-Fried situation? And do y'all feel 25 years is enough for what he did? Like he screwed over a whole lot of people, but I'll just stop there. But Trey, bro, I guess what are your thoughts on the whole Sam Bankman-Fried situation?
I mean, what I find the most amazing is how we just saw what happened to Bernie Madoff, right? And the Ponzi scheme. It's just amazing how a lot of these guys don't realize that everything they're doing is monitored, right? Everything that we're doing is monitored in this country. And so for anybody to think that they can get away with this level of fraud, or really any fraud in general, it's just crazy. And I've been looking at a lot of sort of like Reddit posts and whatnot of people saying like, who was worse, like Bernie Madoff or Sam Bankman-Fried? And I think we can all agree that probably Madoff, just because of the amount of time that he was doing it. But I don't know, man. How do you even rank who was worse?
It makes me think about, what's the name of that girl, that woman, that white woman who started that company, and it was supposed to be, it was like more of a it was more of a chemical company, where essentially it was supposed to be something where they could get a drop of your blood, and then they could determine the cure for you for like everything, every ailment you possibly would have. and it was Theranos. I think that was the name of the company. It was either the name of the company or a woman. It was Theranos, I believe. And
Okay.
let me actually type. So that way, so y'all know.
Real quick too, because I'm getting some messages on LinkedIn. If you guys want my LinkedIn, it's just Trey, Trey, and my last name is Gonzalez, spelled the traditional way with a Z at the end. So, but
yeah, so this one, yeah, Elizabeth Holmes, the former Theranos CEO.
I remember her. Yep, I remember her.
That was crazy, the whole situation with her. Like they were saying she was on the cover of Forbes. They were like, yo, this woman she's changing the world, like a whole bunch of different things. And come to find out, it was a whole bunch of nothing. It was a whole fraud, a whole scam as well. It's interesting because the thing with Sam Bankman-Fried that I think is interesting is how the thing with Sam Bankman-Fried is how he looks like the reason so many investors trusted him is low-key because he looks like the typical tech dude. Yes. Who just doesn't care about money, who is just grungy, who's super smart. Like they were like, oh, this guy's a genius. He's awkward and weird, like Elon Musk, especially how Elon Musk used to be. He used to be a lot weirder. He's a bit more normalized now, but they're like, okay, he's like weird, he's out of shape. You know, he doesn't seem like he cares about the money. He dresses bummy. All the while, this dude is taking people's money and is getting prostitutes and is going on the islands and is doing all of this stuff, just messing everything over entirely. And Cooler J said a tech nerd. Ronell says they have an HBO docuseries on Elizabeth Lies. Yeah, on Elizabeth's Lies. Yeah. You know, I actually haven't watched that. I want to see that. Thank you, Thea. You were letting us know the name. I didn't even notice that. Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes. Cam Beard. Oh, Cam Beard said I lost money from the Madoff and Bankman-Fried, both Tank stocks and Bankman's crypto. Whoa! So, man, you actually lost money from this. So we have people that are actually here in the chat that are truly affected by this, like on a personal level. That's Ronell says $11 billion, 25 years is not enough. Those are facts.
That is 100% facts. That is crazy.
That's true. Somebody say, how about the celebrities that promoted him? That's a real thing. I mean, but you know, so this is interesting. This actually gets pretty personal, particularly for me, because to be Black. Because when you mention how about the celebrities that promoted them, I feel the same way when it comes to tech boot camps. Because the same way celebrities promoted him, there are a lot of tech boot camps that I promoted over time, and there is one in particular. Not going to say their name right now, but I'm sure y'all know in the comments who I might be referring to. There's one in particular that the quality just isn't where it used to be. It just isn't where it used to be. And because of that, I've gotten flack from that. People are like, yo, Cyrus, like this program doesn't seem to be like checking the box anymore. And because of that, I'm like, yo, this is not a good look. And it made me shift my perspective on promoting boot camps, where I was like, yo, I really have to be careful with promoting boot camps. I already knew that, but what I learned was just because a boot camp is good at one point doesn't mean they will maintain their quality. So it taught me, okay, we have to continue to watch these boot camps over and over. That's why I don't promote every program that's out there. One, most of them are trash. Two, even if they are good, it's too many programs for me to watch all of them to make sure they maintain their quality. And so we're just like, you know what, we're going to pull back. We're just going to focus on the boot camps we can focus on and can actually watch. The other reason why this is actually a very sensitive thing, some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know, the TechPreneur Con, our tech event is coming up it's coming up literally in a month from now. It'll be April 27th through the 28th. And so it's TechPreneur Con is a tech conference where, I mean, it has a large variety of things, but one of the things that are going to be happening at TechPreneur Con that's really unique is that VIP, people who have VIP actually are micro investors into the startups that will be there at the event. We're actually going to have a pitch off at the conference, Shark Tank style, two different tech companies that are actually going to pitch to the audience into our version of Sharks, but our version will be will be investment advisors, is what our panelists are going to be. And so essentially it's going to be like Shark Tank, but the live audience actually gets to vote and invest into the company that actually wins the pitch off. And so with that, we decided, this first round, we actually have the percentage of the investment be so small. So for VIP, $50 of the VIP ticket goes actually into the investment of the company that wins the pitch off. This first round, we're getting sponsors, we're getting a bunch of support, but we're like, okay, for this first round, we wanted it to be a number that, if for one reason or another, we need to, because we want to match it. We actually want Tech is New Black wants to match the amount of investment that people put in. So we're like, for this first go round, we don't want to say, we're gonna match y'all's investment, and the investment comes up to $60,000 based on how many people, based on the amount of people that get VIP tickets. And now we're like, dang, Texas New Black, we have to pay $60,000 to match that. So we don't want to end up in a Sam Bankman-Fried type of situation where we're making promises that we can't actually keep. So instead, we're like, let's keep it small. So that way, if the investment comes out to be around $5,000, cool, we can go ahead and match that. Even $10,000, okay, cool, we can match that. And so it's interesting how someone like him could really just, like you said, Trey, just truly think, I could just do this and get away with it, or no one's gonna catch up. This isn't gonna catch up to me, or nobody's gonna really. I'm gonna just skate through this and just enjoy my best life.
Yep. It's funny too, Cyrus. I know you probably remember this. Do you remember the Fire Festival situation? It's real crazy. These guys can just get away with whatever they want, and I'm glad that you mentioned the celebrity backing thing, because Ja Rule was literally the face of that, right? And it killed his reputation. And you got to be
his
careful.
Reputation was already not doing good at the 50 bodied him so many times, but that put him in the dirt.
Oh yeah.
Christina said, Cyrus, low-key, that's hilarious about his physical features associated with banks lending money and wild at the same time. Yeah, it's really strange, but it's something about his look that, and then of course on top of that, he's white. So you have all of these elements where, because let me know in the chat if y'all know about this, that when it comes to funding, when it comes to businesses being funded, Black businesses, I don't know the statistic for other communities, but specifically for Black American businesses, receive less than 1% of funding. So all of the funding dollars that comes from VCs, from banks, from various types of investors that are out there, less than 1% goes to Black-owned startups. And so, and this isn't to say, just because somebody's white, they're gonna get an investment, or they're gonna get investors. That's not to say that. But he does fit the full look and the way he talked, everything, where it's like, oh yeah, you could tell investors are like, oh yeah, we're gonna invest in this guy. We trust in it. We're gonna go ahead and give him our money. And it's like, yep, y'all were wrong. You shouldn't have assumed.
Exactly.
Shouldn't have assumed. All right, cool. So we'll go ahead and shift over to the next topic of conversation, which is really interesting. Facebook is letting Netflix see users' DMs. And so it says, quit streaming to keep Netflix happy because of this lawsuit that's going on right now. So let's go through it. So last April, Meta, who's the parent company of Facebook, revealed that it would no longer support original shows like Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table talk show on Facebook Watch. Meta's streaming business that was once viewed as competition for the likes of YouTube and Netflix, that's hilarious to hear it now, is effectively dead now. Facebook doesn't produce original series, and Facebook Watch is no longer available on a video streaming app. Now, let's go ahead and jump down. All right, so as spotted via Gizmodo, a letter was filed on April 14th in relation to a class action antitrust suit that was filed by Meta customers, accusing Meta of antitrust competitive practices that harm social media competition and consumers. The letter made public Saturday asked the court to have Reed Hastings, Netflix founder and former CEO, respond to a subpoena for documents that plaintiffs claim are relevant to the case. The original complaint, filed on December 2020, doesn't mention Netflix beyond stating that Facebook secretly signed whitelist and data sharing agreements with Netflix, along with dozens of other third-party app developers. the case is still ongoing. So long story short, and of course you all can read more about this. Long story short, Meta is sharing our data with Netflix and other apps that are out there. Now, of course, one of the reasons we know that our government at least has been saying that we need to get rid of TikTok, or that it looks like we're going to get rid of TikTok if they don't sell themselves or sell a portion of themselves over, is because they're claiming that, okay, TikTok is sharing our data, our information to other parties that are enemies to the American just citizens, or just America in general. And so now obviously Netflix isn't the ops, but I'm still curious, like, what do y'all think about this? Do y'all think it should be okay for these platforms to behind the scenes share data, user data, especially with users that either even aren't on their platforms, or users that are on their platform, but Netflix isn't able to fully know everything about that user? Because y'all know, the more they know about you, the more they can cater and curate things that they're pitching to you, whether we're talking shows, whether we're talking ads. So curious to know, do y'all feel like this is a problem, or are y'all like, yo, like, whatever, big deal, they can share my user data and my interactions on these social media platforms? Or how do you feel about it, Trey?
I think I'm very pro privacy. I think that just is one of those things that naturally happens when you live here in the United States. And I lived in Europe too, which is even more pro privacy. I know these companies are going to try to spin it that, oh, we're trying to help, fuel consumerism, and like, we're here to help you. But it's like, you don't need to be diving into my, not to say that there's anything terrible in my messages, but like, how are my messages going to help curate, search options or things that I'm interested in? Like, I don't think that, I don't think it's worth it personally. And I get the whole TikTok thing. I think it's pretty crazy to see. I never thought that we would be at this point. But, as more of this stuff starts to come out, people are going to start learning about their rights, and these companies are going to start being held accountable. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a bunch of laws that eventually are going to have to be created. The government is definitely going to start getting involved and saying, okay, look, y'all can do this, you can't do that. The other thing that's really interesting, I'll be real, I don't like it, but part of me is kind of open to it, only because I think of it this way. And I'm not saying this thought process is right. This is just a part of me that is kind of open to it. Is that, okay, what does Netflix do? Netflix is a streaming service. They recommend TV shows and movies on their platform to me. I believe that they're working on a video game side of Netflix as well to create streaming for video games. But either way, that's what Netflix does. I have a paid membership on Netflix, so I don't see ads when I'm on Netflix. And does Netflix ever do ads? Do they do ads yet?
It's crazy. I was running on the treadmill this morning and an ad popped up when I was watching a movie. It's crazy.
Oh, okay. So they're doing ads.
The higher tier your account is, then that limits the commercials. It's like a tiered system, basically.
Okay,
like
cool.
Pandora,
Yeah. So
Apple Music.
yeah, I think I've just been grandfathered in. I don't even know what the price is now, but I've just been grandfathered in. I've never seen an ad on Netflix. So that being said, because I don't see ads on Netflix, what does that mean if Meta gives Netflix my data? The only thing that means, at least for now, is that Netflix knowing more about me allows them to better curate what shows and movies they recommend to me. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, technically that benefits me, because there's a lot of shows. How many of us have been on Netflix or Hulu or any of these platforms, and you're struggling to find something? And it's not that there's nothing on the platform that you would like to see. It's just they are limited to recommending things to you because they're limited to knowing, they're limited in terms of how much they know about you. But if they know more about you, then they're like, okay, cool. You also would like all these other shows that you're not seeing when you're scrolling. So in my mind, it partially benefits me. Like, it's like, okay, it doesn't really harm me, because it just helps them better recommend content to me that I might like. And I want to be recommended content that I might like that I don't know about. And again, that's me saying that's why part of me is open to it. And same thing with ads. For anybody that doesn't have, you know, if you have a tier that has ads, it's like, okay, well, now that just helps them better recommend content to you, and it helps them better recommend ads of products or services that you actually might be interested in. Now, again, I'm not saying that we need to be comfortable with this, but I'm saying the part of me that's kind of talk about these comments. So Ronald says, I don't agree with it at all, but at least they're upfront. Yeah, that's true. At least they're upfront with it, with how they're invading our privacy. I believe most social media sites do some type of privacy invading behind the scenes. Chandalin, that's a cool name. No, but a lot of times they ask us for consent on certain things when we download these apps or sign up for these platforms, and we don't read, just click yes, and not knowing it's a gateway to those sorts of things. Cameron says they do that with Instagram. If you search something up on a Safari, next thing you know, you see an advertisement on Instagram stories or feed and on YouTube. So that's slightly different, Cam. What you're referring to, so I know what you're talking about, where you know, you look at something on Instagram, then you go to, you're on Google and you see an ad for it. That isn't the platforms necessarily sharing data as much as it's, so you know, when you're on a platform like Google or any platform, and it says like, hey, this site has cookies, or hey, this thing is, you know, are you fine with this thing tracking you? If you say, yeah, I'm cool with it, it's not that Facebook is telling or Instagram is telling Google your business or that they're sharing data. Is that Google is able to track you over to Instagram and they're seeing what you're looking at. Now, of course, it's not like currently now, it's not that it's like a physical person or that they're literally looking at everything you're looking at, but more so that the data is tracking what you're looking at. And then now it's saying, okay, cool. So the next time you're on a website, based on things we saw you doing on Instagram, now we're going to recommend these ads from these companies to you. And so that's what's happening when it comes to that. But Jamie says, I believe that fast advancements we see is from using data in more proficient ways, such as this. The more technology develops, the more we part ways with our privacy. Yeah. Christina says they could do a personality assessment on Netflix instead of invading people's personal DMs that involve other people who might not have Netflix. You know, I forgot about the DMs part. That actually is really insane. That's why. It's like, bro, get out my DM. Why are you in my DM?
Wow.
To be incredibly private.
Just wondering, what are they doing with the information? Because chances are most people aren't talking about, hey, I watched this show on Netflix, right? Or, oh, I'm into Scorsese films, or I'm into Christopher Nolan films. Nobody's talking about that in their DMs most of the time, at least. So
yeah, but you know, data is weird. I read a book called Dataclysm, and it's by the founder of OkCupid. Amazing book. I tell you, look, y'all, this book was so fire. It's called Dataclysm because just like it's a combination between data and cataclysm. And the founder of OkCupid, he talks about, the book is about human psychology and sociology and how we actually are. And what was really crazy about the book, it breaks down how technology knows us way better than we know ourselves. It showed how using data, it proves that people who even think like they're not racist, the data can actually prove, no, you actually are racist. Like you think you're not racist, but you actually are racist. Even it actually proves, somebody here mentioned like the thing of Netflix doing surveys where you said Netflix should do a personality assessment on Netflix. The thing is, it actually in Dataclysm, it proved that when we do surveys, we actually lie most of the times. Even if we're doing a survey and we don't think anyone will see it, we will lie because in our minds, we think higher of ourselves than we actually are. So if we do a survey that says, hey, are you comfortable with seeing, I'll keep with the relationship example. Hey, are you comfortable with seeing a black man and a white woman, or a white woman and an Asian man, or whatever example you want to look at? It's like we will say, yeah, I'm comfortable with it. But even people that are not comfortable with it will say, yeah, I'm comfortable with it. But their minds will think, for the most part, in certain scenarios, but it's like, no, it's a yes or no question. Data is actually able to show who you truly are, even if you don't know that's who you are. And it's a really interesting. There's a story with this pastor where it's funny. He was on stage preaching. He really aired himself out. He didn't know. He was talking about TikTok. He was on stage. He's talking about TikTok and Instagram, and he was like, "Man, these social media apps." He was like, "They're the devil." He was like, "All they do is recommend half-naked women." He's like, every time I'm on those apps and I'm on the all I'm seeing is half-naked women, booty shaking." And then somebody was like, "Pastor, it's recommending to you things that it knows that you like and you're interested in." So it's like, that just means you be lingering on them twerk videos way too long, Pastor. That's what that means. So it's real wild. Real wild. So Mimi says, Texas Black, doesn't TikTok allow you to clear out your history, which would change your algorithm? So not, I can't even answer that because I don't know for a fact. I don't want to say something like it's fact and I'm not really sure. That might be right. That completely might be right. Patrick says it goes down in the DMs. Yeah, Instagram is seeing like what's going on in their DMs. It's like, yeah, let's go ahead and start recommending some OnlyFans girls, because this dude be thirsty in the DMs. All right, y'all. So look, we are behind time. So I'll address this last comment and we're gonna move to the next topic. So Christina says, is deep AF. They are allowing us to know that they have full control over how they'll keep tabs on us. They may share that information with their shareholders, not just Netflix. They definitely share with the shareholders, because they have access to all the data. Now, I will say, y'all remember most of these platforms, like Instagram, is free. So it's like, okay, how does Instagram make money? Or how do we pay Instagram? We pay them with our data. So most of the internet is free, but it seems like it's free, but it's like, well, somebody's paying for it. Who's paying for it? It's the advertisers, it's the business owners running ads. Why are they paying for it? They're paying so that way they can promote their business to their specific target audience. So it's like, we're giving the platforms are saying, hey, we have the data to the people you want to pitch your business or your services to. And so, I mean, think about it. Even with Tech is New Black, with TechPreneur Con, we haven't ran any ads yet. But if and when we start running ads in the future, we're going to hope these social media platforms are giving us the best, not giving us data, but that the ads we're running, that these platforms have really good data traction to be able to target our stuff to our specific target audience. So it's one of those things where, depending on where you fall out, all of y'all that have businesses are going to start businesses. Technically, you would hope these platforms have a lot of data on your potential customers, or maybe y'all don't care. That's something I'm curious to know about. You about to trade?
You cut out there, Cyrus. What was that?
Well, I thought you were about to say something.
Oh, no.
Okay, cool. All right, bet. So let's shift over. And we're not going to spend too much time on this, but it's pretty interesting. This is just some quick news. So the king is dead. Claude 3 surpasses ChatGPT 4 on Chatbot Arena for the first time. So I'm not going to go all the way through this, but I do want to say that I've been seeing some news recently that ChatGPT is ranked like number 3 or number 4 when it comes to open source AI tools, which is really crazy to see. I've been seeing that more and more. And so I'm curious, like, y'all in the comments, let me know, like, what other AI platforms do y'all use outside of ChatGPT? Or are y'all people, like, is anybody here that you're like, yo, you're not using AI at all? When we talk about data sharing, it's like AI and data, that's going to be a very interesting pairing. Very interesting pairing. Have you, Trey, do you use any AI tools?
Look, I use ChatGPT daily in my office and in my role. And in fact, everybody around here uses it. Everybody in my industry uses it. I'm interested to read a little bit more into this, but I'm telling you, come Monday, I'm going to try out this Cloud 3 situation, because if it's that quick, and ChatGPT, it's flawless. There's no issues with it at all. So I'm interested to see how quick this really is.
Yeah, it's pretty fire.
Yeah.
We
and
use it.
Oh, go ahead, Cyrus. My bad.
No, you're fine. You can go ahead.
No, I was going to say, anybody out there not using these AI tools, they really simplify so many processes in your life. Like, you can figure out pretty much anything. Like, it'll plan out your whole day. You can figure out how to talk to prospective clients. You can literally anything that you could think of. All these tools, like, they just spit out so much great and pertinent information to help you out in life. So,
yeah,
and it's not
they're
going
really
better.
Yeah, it's really not. I'll use this as a shameless plug when it comes to TechPreneur Con. We actually use some AI to build out our site for the event. So y'all know I mentioned earlier TechPreneur Con, the event we have coming up. Super unshameless plug about the event because we're excited about it. So we literally use some AI tools to help build out this when it comes to the upcoming event. So these pictures are from our last tech event, which we called it Podcast in the Sky, because of course most people know us as a podcast. It was a year and a half ago. So literally, it did a phenomenal job. Like you look at this backdrop, it having the information in here about the event, April 27th, and then Sunday. And then even like a lot of these things are clickable. Like you can actually click on this to get your tickets. Then you go down here and it has another point on here. Mention the event, the largest tech, and literally it came like we fed it a bunch of information about who we are, what we do. And it just put all of this in here. The largest tech career and tech business platform, Tech is New Black, is introducing to you TechPreneur Con, where tech, entrepreneurship, and networking collide. And I mean, this joint is fire. Like the way it built everything out. Now, we definitely had to make some tweaks to it. It wasn't perfect at all, but it was fire. It was super, super fire. And so, yeah, this technology is getting wicked good. Wicked good. I cannot believe I just said wicked. I feel like
wait till it start, and Cyrus, you probably noticed this, but wait till it starts picking up on like your trends and your questions and the industry that you work in and like the type of events that you want to put on, and it just starts giving you ideas on its own. That's when it's going to get really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really incredible.
Yeah,
really incredible. Christina says the backdrop and the site were very dope. That was one of my first thoughts. I wondered who built that page. Let me know how many of you that are here in the chat have already gotten your tickets to TechPreneur Con versus how many of you are still planning to get your tickets to TechPreneur Con. So right now it is early bird. The prices for TechPreneur Con will be going up next week. Either it'll be going up at the end of next week, or if we run out of early bird tickets, then it'll automatically go up sooner. So we're trying to see which one's going to happen first. If we run out of early bird access first, because we have a limited amount of those, and then the price will automatically go up, or if we will just make it to the end deadline when it comes to that. Patrick says, all right, Patrick, you got your tickets to the event. David says, planning to get my tickets. Kevin says, AI engineering is going to be the next hype. Yeah, that's actually right now. That's becoming a thing. I'm going to be real. Tech is a New Black. We recently partnered with a boot camp. Not even a boot camp. It's actually a college. They just have a boot camp portion where they actually have an AI training program. The only reason why we have not promoted it is because they said they require people to already have software engineering experience. And it's like, man, that kind of defeats what we're doing. Like the whole purpose of Tech is New Black and what we do is help people that don't have any experience, be able to land roles. Of course, either via a boot camp or via them leveraging their transferable skills and domain expertise. So that's the only reason why we haven't pushed it, is because we're like, it's kind of like us telling people, yo, do a software engineering boot camp. And then when you're finished with that, then do this AI boot camp. This is like, man, come on. We ain't trying to have people do all that. Andrea Perry says, getting mine this weekend. Good stuff. Yes. Stefan says, I'm planning on it. Christina says, you're a ticket holder already. Darcel says, I got the ticket. Evolve says, I went to the one back in 2022. Oh, yeah. So you came to the one that we had, the Podcast in the Sky, the first event. If I didn't have prior scheduled events, I'd be there for sure. Love it. Love it. Hey, appreciate the love either way. And of course, all of y'all that are in the TechPreneur community, because I know some of y'all aren't aware of this, because all y'all don't pay attention to the chat. A lot of y'all do, but some of y'all don't. Remember, if you join the TechPreneur community within the first 48 hours, you have free access to the event. So literally, you got free access. Many of y'all have already taken advantage of it and have already registered for the event. If you joined in the first 48 hours, you have free access to the event. If you are a TechPreneur community member, you get 50% off of the event. And so either way, just want to make sure y'all know that. And so that's for those that are in the community now and those that join the community that you get 50% off of the event. Because I want to make sure y'all ain't getting the tickets and then you find out later, and then we got to refund and wait the 5 business days. We ain't trying to do all that. Just go ahead and get your free access. But the information to get free access, the link and all of that is within the community Discord. All right, good stuff. ISTV says, aren't AI engineers just data engineers? By the way, so yes and no. There is some overlap, but you could be like a machine. You can learn like machine learning, AI. Like there are some specific things, but a lot of it is really just prompting right now with a lot of the AI engineers. That's what the founder of NVIDIA is working on. He said that he's working towards the common software engineering language to be English or be whatever your language is. So basically, he wants us to get to an era where we no longer need Python or Java or any other coding languages, C++, any of that stuff. Cameron says, I need that VIP event though. I got the free email. Yeah, man, get that VIP access because it'll take $197 off. You'll be able to save $197 for the VIP ticket, knocking that price down for you. Andrea says, I always feel like I'm mispronouncing it. I think it's Andrea. I think you corrected me before. You say, yes, I have mine, but I'm going to upgrade. Go ahead, upgrade to that VIP then. So you can come to the brunch with bosses. No, brunch with ballers, excuse me. The brunch with ballers day party that we're having the next day. And it's more than just a party, by the way. It's going to be some education, but it's also going to be a brunch party. It's going to be pretty lit. All right, good stuff. So my bad. Enough with the TechPreneur Con. Let me hop off that. Pause. Or no Diddy. I should say no Diddy. No Diddy. All right, so we're not going to spend too much time on this. But Apple dismisses Microsoft's monopoly comparison. Not sure if y'all are aware, but Apple is starting to face a little bit of heat when it comes to being considered a monopoly right now. So a week after finding itself at the business end of a landmark lawsuit from the United States Department of Justice, Apple is staunchly denying any parallels between itself and Microsoft in the 1990s. It's a comparison into which the U.S. Attorney General leaned heavily in last week's filing. While portion of the United States versus Microsoft court were partially overturned, the Windows maker was ultimately required to modify certain business practices deemed monopolistic by the government. Garland and the 16 state attorney generals that participated in the Apple suit are no doubt seeking a similar outcome to curtail practices it believes amount to an unfair advantage for the $2.65 trillion company. That's a lot of dollars. So if y'all aren't aware, there was something that went viral recently where a guy, and there have been a lot of things that have happened with Apple. So this isn't the only thing, but let me know if y'all saw this video. There was a video where a gentleman asked Tim Cook being the CEO of Apple. He formerly used to be the CMO, the chief marketing officer, when Steve Jobs was still CEO. So marketing is his thing. And he did a masterful job promoting Apple, but it also bit him in the butt. It was an event where a young dude asked Cook, he said, hey, I have a question. It's personal. He was like, my mom doesn't have an iPhone. She has an Android. He's like, whenever I'm trying to FaceTime her, I'm trying to, do all of the things that the person has to have an iPhone to be able to do or have iMessage to be able to do. He's like, I'm not able to do it. He was like, is there any way you think, and he was basically trying to lean towards being like, yo, can Apple just stop this whole Apple versus Android and just make iMessage available for everyone? And Tim Cook said his answer was, you should buy your mom an iPhone. Why haven't you bought her an iPhone? And so it was a cool marketing thing, but at the same time, I was like, oh, Playboy, like that also just sounds like all you're saying is, yeah, bump your problem, bump your issue. Just basically give us money. Buy an iPhone. So I saw you shaking your head, Trey. I guess what are your feelings on that?
I work in the industry. I work directly with Apple, so I can't comment too deeply into it. But just on the surface, Apple has done an outstanding job, and I know that kind of scares people, but just at literally cornering every segment of cellular technology. I mean, iPads, iPhones, computers. Like, I mean, I could look around my office right now and I see Apple products everywhere. And I don't know. I don't see them downsizing anytime soon. I know that scares a lot of people, but at the same time, you know, they have the capital to do whatever they want. I think it'll be interesting to see what the DOJ does.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's crazy stuff. This stuff is going to go on for years too. This isn't a decision that's going to be made in the next, year or so. This is something that's going to take some time,
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, yeah, they're not going anywhere. Like the iPhone seems to be kind of not falling off, but it's not impressing people anymore. But
No.
So I low-key was thinking like, yo, have we seen like the peak of Apple? Is this? Are we gonna gradually see the decline? And then of course they dropped their I forget what are their
Apple
goggles called?
Apple Vision or something like that.
Yeah, Apple was Apple Vision Pro.
Yep.
Man, it was like, oh, never mind. Let me shut up. It's clear they've been behind the scenes focused on that and not that much on the phone. They're like, look, we good with the phone. We need to focus on something else to grow in the market. And so I'm like, oh no, Apple is around to stay for a while.
Oh yeah.
Until
they get into automobiles, I think that's one segment that they're looking to break into as well. I mean, they already have Apple Car. Wait till they start actually creating, the inventory around it.
They actually just canceled their plans when it comes to an Apple Car. They canceled it. The news came out, like a couple months ago, I think, where they said that they've canceled their plans. But yeah, they have been working at it for years. I don't know why they gave up. It's actually really strange that they gave. I think what they might have done, I could be wrong, but this is my theory. I think what they might have done is they probably decided instead of them building an Apple Car, they probably were like, let's just build the technology and the services that are within a lot of these electric cars. So that way we just kind of run that play, so that the same way Apple they're not a, what is it? Like T-Mobile isn't a phone company. T-Mobile is a telecommunications company. They're a company that provides VoIP, voice over internet protocol. They provide T-Mobile has cell phone towers, where you're able to have a signal. They provide services like that. So Apple, and on the flip side, like without T-Mobile, without Verizon, without these other companies, Apple people would not be able to make calls using iPhone. I mean, maybe of course for Wi-Fi you can technically. But same thing, T-Mobile provides Wi-Fi, provides internet connection, things like that. So anyway, all of that being said, I wonder if that's the play Apple decided to do. They're like, yo, instead of us building the car, how about we just provide some of the technology and some of the services and things that'll be within the car. But if they had to drop an Apple car, that would have shut the market down. Oh, everybody wanted an Apple car.
Yeah. It would have been interesting to see a little competition, though, for Tesla, because chances are it would have been in an electric car, right?
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to see that competition.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I got so many theories on it, but anyway, let me get to the comments. Evolve says ISTV depends on if the company already has the infrastructure to only need the AI engineering portion, but in a high level view, and from what I've seen, yes, they are or can be. Okay, you're speaking about the last topic, I believe. Michelle says it's always been a debate between Apple and iPhone users, what to do, who to choose. Yeah, facts. Evolve says the entire reason data engineer became huge is because companies get raw data, and it is a time consuming for the analysts to develop databases, then get meaningful insights. Yeah, thanks for dropping that nugget. Patrick G says they come out with that clear glass iPhone. Bob says same thing. Tesla's been focusing on the software company that provide the entire car while working, making the cars easier to build, less parts, more one entire structure. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the dashboard on Tesla or any cars that have that dashboard where it's all completely digital, you actually know that's cheaper. It's cheaper for them to make a one digital dashboard, even though it looks cool, than it is for companies to have all the knobs and buttons and things like that. It actually is cheaper for them to do it. So even though the technology is advanced and it looks super futuristic, it's actually saving them a lot of money when it comes to doing that stuff. All right, so last topic that we have. I know we got to talk about some robots. Elon Musk says that the Tesla Optimus robot should cost less than half of a car. So Elon says the Optimus, Tesla's general purpose humanoid robot, should cost less than half the price of a car. A few months ago, Tesla unveiled the Optimus Generation 2, a new generation of its humanoid robot that should be able to take over repetitive tasks for humans. The new prototype showed a lot of improvements compared to previously underwhelming versions of the robot, and it gave some credibility to the project, which was laughed off by many when first announced with a dancer disguised as a robot for visual aid a few years ago. Tesla believed it will be possible by leveraging its AI work on its self-driving vehicle program and expertise in batteries and electric motors. It argued that its vehicles are already robots on wheels. Now it just needs to make them in humanoid forms to be able to replace humans in some tasks, primarily repetitive and dangerous tasks. Man, they's gonna put a lot of people out of work.
Oh my gosh.
Would y'all have a robot in your home if it could do tasks for you, like if it could clean and it could? What would it take? My question is, what would a robot have to do for you in order for you to be cool with having your own robot?
I'm telling you right now, if it could make my bed and do my laundry, like clean my floors and stuff like that, man, I'm sold. I would pay for that. Maybe walk the dog. I would pay for that.
Man, I low-key would want one just for the fun. Even if it can't move, it just sit there. I'd be like, yeah, I got me one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks cool too. Like
I'm like, yeah, y'all boys ain't got y'all own robot. What's up?
I'll be interesting to see the ways that you could customize it. That'll be a very interesting market, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be really interesting. Yes, what's interesting is that there are gonna be businesses that will be created from this. So we talk a lot about how technology is going to replace a lot of businesses, but what we don't talk about is how many businesses actually get created whenever there's new technology. Like when the iPhone came out, you know, of course there were hella people that were like, okay, well, this is crushing all of these other phone makers, is gonna put them out of business, whatever. But what many people didn't consider was the opportunity, because when iPhone came out and iPhone came out with the Apple Store, that was when we had the introduction to apps. And there are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people where their full-time career is them building apps, or their full-time career is ran through an app that they've created, or they have an app-based business. So the same way Apple crushed a lot of people's jobs, a lot of people lost their careers because they got fired or laid off from their companies. On the flip side, the iPhone created tens of thousands of businesses based off of the iPhone. And so it's always interesting. So I'm curious, and I thought about this because somebody's saying, or when you mentioned the customization of it, is like, man, what businesses will be created when it comes to these robots? What businesses or services will be created when it comes to these robots? And so that's the way I think we all should think, because we're not going to stop this technology stuff from happening. We should constantly be thinking, what business or service can I create off of this technology that will automatically put me ahead of the curve of any competition or make me a market leader?
Yeah.
Arnell says, iRobot. He says, yep, keep my house clean. That's funny facts. Customization will be wild. Michelle says, the robot can free up my time to do other things. Yuval says, factual, we need people that are able to fix the new technology, since everyone will be getting one. That is very true. Very true. Yeah, I'm thinking about the repair costs for these robots. I wouldn't want anything Tesla in my house. What they might do, it might be interesting if they have a subscription, because y'all know they are gradually looking to shift everything over to a subscription. And I wonder if they'll have like a subscription play or insurance. I mean, of course, you'll have insurance on it. It'll be half the price of a car, the price of some cars. So it's like you're going to probably need insurance on it, or at least really want to have insurance on it. And that'll probably cover it anyway. Patrick says, I mean, look at what happened to the BlackBerry. Yeah, very true. Try to revive themselves recently, but that didn't really go too well. Yeah. Well, look, y'all, we covered a lot of this news. been on here for a minute going over the tech news. I love this stuff, as y'all can tell. I love going over tech news. I think it's really important for us to be aware of what's happening in the week. There are literally 100 other things that happen this week when it comes to technology. These are just some of the most recent things that I care a lot about. So if any of y'all are interested in more tech news, I do encourage you to check out other platforms that talk about tech news. Let us know. Us know. I'm always speaking to us like Texas New Black. Let me know or message Texas New Black if y'all want to see more tech news, because we are thinking about turning this into a larger segment where we would transfer this from just being online like this and maybe do this in the podcast studio, maybe have a few different recurring guests, things like that. But thank you, Evolve. You said great talk, Cyrus and Trey. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So yeah, thank you. I mean, Trey killed it because he and I didn't talk about this ahead of time. This was not fully prepped. This is just very organic. One of the things I love when it comes to doing these Saturday morning tech news is that I'm sure y'all can see how, even though this is Trey, this is our first time, like 5 minutes before we went live, was like our first time like talking, like for real. And so, but what I love about this is you can see a parallel between people who, there are people that just want to be in the tech industry, or they want a certain job in the tech industry. And it's like they're completely unaware, oblivious, and do not care about what's happening. They just want to check, and that's it. And Trey is one of those people, we can all tell this already. He's one of those people where it's like, no, he actually is an enthusiast when it comes to the technology and what's happening in the market. Now, it's very important. I'm not going to say y'all have to be to the level that Trey is, or y'all have to be to the level that, some super, super tech nerd is. But understand that you actually having an eye for some of the things that are happening in the market will make you more competitive, but also it'll help you make certain decisions and moves when it comes to shifting to different tech companies. The same way investors look at the market, they watch the market, they see what's happening with companies so they can determine when to pull their money out of a company or put money into a company or, whatever when it comes to that. Likewise, understand that you are an investor when it comes to your time and your energy at these different companies. So just like NVIDIA is taking off right now, I think I mentioned this last week, or I might have just mentioned this in the TechPreneur community. I have a homeboy who he is a senior or principal level security engineer. He's in cybersecurity for a popping company. He's on his way to being a millionaire right now. He's only 26 or 27 at this point. And he actually is in rounds of interviews right now with NVIDIA. And that's because he knows that will more quickly get him to being a millionaire and generate multiple millions for him if he lands at NVIDIA. And so understand that we talk a lot about, 6-figure tech career, all of that, but you can really make certain moves to make yourself a multi-millionaire just by shifting around and moving around in the industry a certain way. So anyway, so just think about that. So that way you're like, okay, cool. Let me look a little bit more into what's happening with some of this technology and stuff. So we're about to shift over. Let me hop off 1 second. I need to blow my nose. I don't know why I'm starting to get a little sentimental right now. This tech news get me so emotional. I'm just playing. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna hop off real quick, then I'll come right back. Then after that, we are going to shift over to the main topic of the conversation today, which is talking to Trey about the hiring opportunity, the mass hiring opportunity that is at his company. So again, we'll be shifting over to make that private with the TechPreneur community. It will be recorded and will be a playback for the TechPreneur community. So anyone that is in the that is a techpreneur now, or you would join in the future, you will have access to that full interview. Of course, Trey has shared his name. You can all see the company he works at, all of that. So again, you're welcome to reach out to him, to message him, all of that. When it comes to the conversation, when it comes to the My Company is Hiring stream, that is something that we do exclusively with the TechPreneur community. But when it comes to you applying to the company, it comes to you reaching out to Trey, ask him the questions one-on-one, you are more than welcome to do that. So yeah. Anyway, I'll be back in 1 second and then we will shift over.
Cyrus, you muted.
So Dilo, you said post the Discord link. So it's there in the description under YouTube. So you should have. Also, y'all, if you use the discount code, TechRich, you actually will get 50% off of joining. So you'll get 50% off of joining if you use the discount code TechRich when it comes to signing up. So somebody mentioned earlier 97, it actually will be closer to like 47 or 48 or something like that. Anyway, we about to go ahead and hop off and shift over to this to the main topic of discussion for today. All right, I love y'all. Bless. I'm just gonna jump out of YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and we're gonna just be private with the Techpreneur community.